Imagine you're on holiday with your husband. It's February 1995, and you're in Borneo, one of the most remote places on Earth. Jungle, heat, no phone signal, no news, just the two of you, away from everything. Your husband has been stressed lately, working long hours, drinking more than usual. But he always has an explanation. The markets are volatile. The pressure is intense. It will pass. You trust him completely. Then you get back to civilization and turn on the news. And there is your husband's face on every channel, in every newspaper. The headline reads, "Rogue Trader Destroys Barings Bank." Not a small bank, not a regional lender, founded in 1762. Banker to the Queen, the oldest merchant bank in Britain. The institution that had financed the Napoleonic Wars, the Louisiana Purchase, and the British Empire itself. Gone. Bankrupt. Destroyed overnight by one man. Your husband. Her name was Leeson, and she had absolutely no idea. This is the story of Nick Leeson, the ordinary boy from Watford who single-handedly brought down one of the most prestigious financial institutions in history, and the woman who loved him and never saw it coming. Nicholas William Leeson was born in 1967 in Watford, England, an unremarkable town just north of London. His background was about as far from the world of high finance as it's possible to get. His father was a plasterer. The family was working class. Nick was bright, but not exceptional, the kind of student who got by on charm and quick thinking rather than academic brilliance. He left school at 18 and got a job as a clerk at Coutts Bank, one of Britain's most exclusive private banks known for handling the accounts of the royal family and the ultra-wealthy. Nick Leeson was not ultra-wealthy. He was a filing clerk. But he was ambitious, enormously, relentlessly ambitious. And he had a gift, a natural instinct for numbers and markets that his supervisors noticed almost immediately. He moved to Morgan Stanley, then to Barings Bank, one of the most prestigious names in British finance. At Barings, he flourished. He was posted to Jakarta to help sort out a settlement mess, back office chaos that nobody else wanted to deal with. Leeson fixed it, efficiently, impressively. Barings rewarded him with a posting to Singapore as a derivatives trader on the Singapore International Monetary Exchange, known as CIMEX. He was 25 years old. He'd never been to university, and he started his career as a filing clerk. And now, he was trading hundreds of millions of dollars of financial instruments in one of Asia's fastest growing markets. He was brilliant at it, at first. In futures trading, there are two sides to every operation: the front office, where traders make deals, and the back office, where those deals are settled and recorded. At most banks, these two functions are kept deliberately separate. An independent check and balance. A system designed so that no single person can make both trades and record them without oversight. At Barings Singapore, Nick Leeson ran both. He was the head trader and the head of the back office settlement. He controlled what was traded and what was recorded. This was an almost incomprehensible failure of basic risk management by Barings senior management, a failure that would prove catastrophic. In 1992, one of Leeson's junior traders made a mistake, a relatively small error that resulted in a loss of about £20,000. In the high-pressure world of trading floors, mistakes happen. The correct response is to report it, absorb the loss, and move on. Leeson didn't report it. Instead, he hid it. He created an error account number 88888, a number considered lucky in Chinese culture, and he buried the loss there, out of sight, off the official books. It seemed like a small thing, a temporary measure. He would make the money back quickly and close the account before anyone noticed. He never close the account. Instead, as more losses accumulated, as trades went wrong, as the pressure mounted, he kept hiding them in 88888, piling loss on top of loss on top of loss. And to cover the losses in 88888, he made bigger and bigger bets, increasingly risky trades designed to generate the returns he needed to make the problem disappear. The problem didn't disappear. It grew. By the end of 1992, account 88888 contained losses of £2 million. By the end of 1993, £23 million. And by the end of 1994, it contained £208 million of losses. And Nick Leeson kept going to work every day, kept making trades, kept sending home profits, fake profits, manufactured by the same account that was hemorrhaging real money. He kept telling Lisa everything was fine. I want to pause here and talk about Lisa. Lisa Sims met Nick Leeson when they were both working at Barings Bank in London. She was smart, warm, and completely devoted to the man she married in 1992, the same year he opened account 88888. She moved to Singapore with him, embraced the expat life, made friends, built a home. She knew Nick worked hard. She knew the markets were stressful. She knew he drank more than he should and sometimes came home from the trading floor wound tight as a spring. What she didn't know, what she had absolutely no way of knowing, was that her husband was carrying a secret that was destroying him from the inside. Nick Leeson has said in interviews that the pressure of maintaining the lie was almost unbearable, that he was drinking heavily to cope, that he was trapped in a spiral and he did not know how to escape. But he never told Lisa, not once. Not a hint, not a moment of weakness where the truth almost came out. She went to work every day not knowing. She had dinner with him not knowing, and she planned their future not knowing. That is the nature of financial fraud that we so rarely talk about, the intimate betrayal at its center. The people closest to the fraudster who are kept in the dark, not out of malice, but out of shame, fear, and the desperate hope that somehow it will all work out. It didn't work out. On January 17, 1995, an earthquake struck Kobe, Japan, one of the deadliest natural disasters in Japanese history. Nearly 6,500 people died. The city was devastated. For Nick Leeson, it was also a financial catastrophe. He'd been making enormous bets that the Japanese stock market, the Nikkei, would remain stable or rise. The Kobe earthquake sent the Nikkei into free fall. His losses accelerated at a speed that was almost incomprehensible. Rather than cut his losses, rather than admit what had happened and face the consequences, Leeson doubled down. He made even bigger bets, staked everything on the Nikkei recovering. It didn't recover fast enough. By February 1995, the losses in account 88888 had reached £827 million, more than the entire capital reserves of Barings Bank. The bank was insolvent, destroyed by one man in one account with one series of increasingly desperate bets. On February 23, 1995, Nick Leeson did not go to work. Instead, he left a note on his desk. It read simply, "I'm sorry." He and Lisa fled to Singapore. They flew to Kuala Lumpur, and then to Brunei, and then to Frankfurt. Lisa still didn't fully understand what had happened. Nick told her there was a problem at work and that they needed to get away for a while and that it would be okay. It was not okay. On February 26, 1995, Barings Bank, founded in 1762, banker to the Queen, one of the most prestigious financial institutions in the world, collapsed. It was sold to the Dutch bank ING for the sum of £1. 233 years of history, £1. Nick Leeson was arrested at Frankfurt Airport on March 2, 1995. Lisa was with him. She had watched the news. She had finally understood the full scale of what her husband had done. She had processed, in the most public and humiliating way imaginable, that the man she loved had been lying to her for 3 years while destroying one of Britain's most historic institutions. She stood by him initially, visited him in prison, tried to hold the marriage together across the distance of a German jail cell and then a Singapore one. Nick Leeson was extradited to Singapore, where the crimes had been committed, and sentenced to 6.5 years in prison. In prison, he was diagnosed with colon cancer. He underwent surgery and chemotherapy while serving his sentence. Lisa filed for divorce in 1996. She later said that the man she had married was not the man who had committed the fraud, that the Nick she knew and loved would have never have done this, that somewhere between the filing clerk from Watford and the rogue trader of Singapore, something had broken inside of him, and he had never told her. She rebuilt her life. She remarried. Barings Bank employed 1,200 people. When it collapsed overnight, those 1,200 people lost their jobs. Many lost their pensions. People who had built entire careers at one of Britain's most prestigious institutions found themselves unemployed because of decisions made by one man in a Singapore trading room. They received no warning. There was nothing they could have done. The Queen lost her private banker. Barings' long-standing clients lost their relationship with an institution that had served their families for generations. And ING, the Dutch bank that had acquired Barings for £1, eventually wound down the Barings brand entirely. 233 years of history reduced to a footnote. Nick Leeson served 4 years of his sentence before being released on medical grounds in 1999. He is alive today. He remarried. He became a public speaker. He talks mostly about risk management and the psychology of financial fraud. He's been remarkably open about what he did and why. He's not in prison. He's not a fugitive. He's rebuilt his life. The 1,200 people who lost their jobs had to rebuild theirs too, with less celebrity, with less book deals, and with less of a story to tell. Every fraud has an architect, but Nick Leeson's story is different from every other story we've covered on this channel. He wasn't trying to get rich. He wasn't building a personal empire. He wasn't stealing to fund a lavish lifestyle. He was trying to hide a mistake. One small mistake in 1992. One moment of weakness where he chose concealment over confession. One decision to bury £20,000 in an error account rather than admit it to his bosses. And then he couldn't stop. Every trader who has hidden a loss, every employee who has ever covered up a mistake, every person who has ever thought, I'll fix it before anyone notices, Nick Leeson is the extreme end of that very human impulse. The lesson just isn't about financial controls. Although Barings' failure to separate front and back office functions was an extraordinary failure of risk management, the lesson is about the cost of secrets and about what happens when shame and fear are stronger than honesty. About how a small lie, unchecked, can become a catastrophe that destroys everything around it, including the people who love you and never knew. Lisa Leeson found out on the news. She deserved better than that. Next week, we're going to go inside the story of Alan Stanford, the Texan who built a fake bank on a Caribbean island and got himself knighted by the government of Antigua and ran a $7 billion Ponzi scheme for 20 years while playing cricket in the sun. Subscribe so you don't miss it. I'll see you Friday.